Howdy guys, my name's Kyle, and we're here to talk to you about gas blocks. Everything that comes into Sons Liberty Gun Works comes to the receiving bench here, and we do incoming QC on it. And our goal is to make sure all of our parts are QC'd, we catch anything that's out of spec before it gets inside the shop to the workflow. Today we're going to be talking specifically about gas blocks and barrels, and those are two of the parts that we do the tightest incoming QC on because they are some of the most important parts of the rifle, and they ensure the rifle functions and the Sons Liberty gun is what it is, and that's how we make it. All right guys, so we're going to talk a little bit about the gas blocks. This is our new V2 gas block made out of 4140 steel, heat treated and QPQ'd. Our new gas block is designed, made a little bit of a change, is designed to fit all the way up against the shoulder of the barrel. That gap has been in there since the M16 was invented to allow a handguard cap, which really isn't necessary on a gun where you're using a free float rail. So we took the gap out. Little less guesswork. Your barrel should still be dimpled, so there really should be no guesswork, but it gives you a little bit more solid fit, and it just really wasn't necessary. When our new gas blocks come in, it is very, very important to us that we do incoming QC, and every gas block that gets into the workflow is 100% good to go. We want a very tight barrel to gas block fit to make sure we have no gas leaks, because our barrels run a little bit smaller gas ports than industry standards, so we want to make sure we're not leaking any gas. We're going to use plug gauges to check the inside of the gas block. So first thing we want to make sure is that we have a go gauge. We want to make sure that this gauge goes inside and works smoothly inside the gas block to make sure it's actually big enough to go over the gas block journal. And these are sized specifically to match the specs that we use for our journals. This is a 7495 go gauge that we make sure it's big enough. The next thing we want to check is with the NoGo gauge, and we want to make sure that this gauge does not go into the gas block. So this ensures that the gas block is not too big and we're not going to be leaking gas. Most of our gas blocks, our goals hit 750 on the dot. We leave a little bit of room in there for error. We have a range that we know that'll work that matches with the specs of the gas block journal. So we have some here. These are all good, F passed. And then we have ones like this. These are bad gas blocks that we pull out of our last batch that when I take this 7505 gauge, I stick it in and it's going in. That means this gas block is too big. That'll go into our pile, and that goes in the trash, basically. We're going to check our barrel, and we want to check the barrel, same thing with the go gauge and a no-go gauge, to be sure that the journal is big enough. So you'll see here we have our no-go gauge. This is a 750 gauge, and this is right at 750. You would think that you want the gas block journal to be right at 750, but we're actually shooting for a little under. We want to be at 7499 is kind of where we want to be. We want to be a little under 750 because you're right at 750, the gas block's not going to go on. And this one shouldn't go on either. This is our no-go gauge on the small side. So this is 7494. 7494. This should not go on either, because if this gauge were to go on, that means the journal is too small. So as long as neither of those gauges go on, we know that this gas block journal is in spec, and it's right where we need it to be to ensure we have no gas leaks or no issues with the barrel. We'll pin gauge the pinhole, no-go and go gauge, the pinhole for the gas tube. And I don't have the gauge here with me right now, but we'll also pin gauge the actual hole where the gas tube goes in. We want that right around 180 to make sure we have a very tight gas tube to gas block fit so we have no leaks whatsoever. That's it in summary. Like I said, we check everything that comes in. We make sure it's tight, it's to spec, and y'all have no issues when you're buying Sons Liberty product. You are guaranteed that what you're getting is going to work right out of the box.